legendary powerlifter Marv Phillips had a rough go as a kid. In 1953, a 7-year-old Marv fell from a 60-foot eucalyptus tree on his parents' farm in Yucaipa, California. Before he hit the ground, his right arm got stuck in a branch and it was torn clean off. His parents rushed him to the hospital and refused to listen to the surgeon's insistence that the arm and perhaps Marv would not make it. Miraculously, his arm was reattached, but it would always be an 1.5 inches shorter than the left arm. For this reason, Marv always felt his bench and deadlift were lacking. At Pomona High School, Marv found athletic glory on the baseball diamond and football field, reattached arm and all. After graduation, in 1962, Marv turned down a tryout with the Los Angeles Dodgers to enlist in the U.S. Navy, where he survived the sinking of 2 ships. Once he completed his military service, Marv played football for Mount Sac College and then joined the Pomona Police Force. Although Pomona PD had a powerlifting team, Marv didn't think about joining because he felt that he lacked the requisite strength. Then, in 1970, a buddy took him to watch a powerlifting meet where a cop from the city took one look at Marv and said, "You'll never make a lifter out of this guy." For a man who had overcome obstacles since childhood, that was all the inspiration he needed. Marv entered his first meet in November of the same year. At a body weight of 193 pounds, he totaled 1,465 pounds with a 525 squat, 425 bench press, and 515 deadlift. Under the mentorship of Tom Overholzer, Marv got serious about his lifting. He would later share lifting wisdom with the Texas legend Doug Young. He referred to the 2 weeks with Young as the most important time in his life. In 1974, he won the national championship in the 220 division, and later he set a world record in the 242-pound division with an 810-pound squat. As a cop in a city with one of the highest crime rates, Marv used training as a form of therapy. He explained it like this, quote, "Thank the Lord for the weight room. I can go in there and begin to train and feel the poison draining away," end quote. His workout program was part of a long day that began at 5:30 in the a.m. After his daytime shift ended around 3 p.m., he would head straight to the gym and train until 6 p.m. when he went home to care for the animals he raised for meat, before getting into bed by 10:30 p.m. Marv would squat twice each week. Tuesday was a light day to feed the muscles, but not to strain them, and Saturday was the heavy day. His normal squat routine was as follows. Tuesday, warm up with 2 220-yard runs, not sprints, jogs, but runs. He would then do 135 as many times as he needed to get loose, then 135 for 10. On both of these first 2 sets, he would hit rock bottom and he would use a narrow stance around 14 inches wide to really stretch the muscles of the hips, thighs, and lower back. Then on to 225 for 8, also with that 14-inch stance, toes pointing out. Then he would switch to a regular stance, never more than 22 inches wide, for 315 for 5, then 405 for 5, again on a regular stance, and then 315 for either 10 or 12, and this would be back to a closed stance, and he'd again go down to rock bottom to really pump the thighs and hips full of fresh blood. On Saturday, he would use the same warm-up of 2 220-yard runs. Then he would do 135 as many times as he needed to get loose. 135 again for 10 this time, deep as on Tuesday. 225 for 8, narrow stance, just like he did on Tuesday. Then 325 for 5, and this would be a regular stance from here on up. 425 for 5, 525 for 5, 625 for 5, and then finish with 315 for 10 or 12, and this would be a close stance again, just like he did on Tuesday. 12 weeks out from a competition, Marv would progressively add more weight and begin to take injections of B12. His last Tuesday workout would go up to 505 for 5, and his last Saturday workout would go up to 725 for 5. For those that knew him, Marv Phillips is remembered as the world record holder in the squat, the 1974 national champion, a policeman, a ladies' man, and an ex-one-armed farm boy who just wouldn't quit. For more of these stories, these legends, this history of physical culture, click subscribe.